Hey everybody, it's Jim here. Today we're going to be checking out one of the flashiest guitars that I have ever had in my possession, and that is a 2023 Fender Special Run Blue Sparkle Telecaster from Japan, of course, because why would we get something cool like this here in the United States? Just saying. We're not going to put this guitar on the bench. I'm going to give you a brief overview of it, and then we're going to get right into playing it. I'll give you my thoughts and some observations afterwards in case you're in the market for one of these while they are available, because again, this is a limited model for the end of 2023. It's an alder body with a very, very flashy sparkle blue finished top. It's also available in black, silver, and from the flagship store, you can get it in orange as well. It's got one sheet of binding on the top, not on the back, because you just have the natural alder. Tummy cut on this instrument, which is, pretty modern for a Telecaster. And outside of that, when you go to the electronics, we do have these blacktop fidelitron pickups with a 6-saddle hardtail bridge and American spec components. The neck is interesting. I was a little nervous about this. This is a modern C-neck with a satin finish. It's actually a bit bigger than a lot of the Fender USA equivalent modern Cs. Same thing goes for Fender Mexico, which is something that's cool in my book. It's got a 42mm nut, narrow tall frets on a rosewood fingerboard that has a 9.5-inch radius. Wrapping it up here, we got Goto vintage locking tuners. We're going to be playing this thing real quick through the Tone King combo amplifier, mic'd up by the SM57. Any drive that you hear will be provided to us by the Brown Amplification Protein pedal, as well as the Benson preamp. As always, reverb and delay will be from the Strymon Volante. If you enjoy this kind of stuff, you want to see more of it, or you just want to support the channel, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. It really does go a long way. Let's hear it, and we'll talk after. One thing that always surprises me, whenever I play a Telecaster that doesn't have the conventional Telecaster bridge with the pickup inside of it, somehow they still have a tele character on the bridge pickup. It's not a like-for-like comparison dead on, but it gets you pretty darn close. There are a few benefits to this guitar, though, that a regular Telecaster is simply not going to be able to match unless you do a noiseless set of pickups. Ugh, don't do that. They sound really full, and you're not going to have a whole lot of hum when you're using gain. I was having a lot of fun using the Brown amplification and having both channels engaged. You can get really hairy, but it sounds great. It sounds full, but a little bit bright, something that you want to make sure that you dial in on your amplifier. Turn your tone knob back or your treble if you do have that parameter available to you, and make use of your tone knob. I can't stress this enough. I know I'm beating a dead horse in every single video, but really it still amazes me how many people just neglect this thing right here. It is your friend. You will make well if you actually put it to use. As a whole though, the guitar sounds great. The feel of the neck is superb. It does have the satin finish on it, but it does have a really substantial kind of feel to it for a guitar that has a modern C. Pleasurable to play. The fretwork itself is fantastic. It's Fender Japan. The fret edges are smooth. These are actually crowned frets. And honestly, it just kind of disappoints me that we don't always get this level of consistency for what we have available here in the USA. The other day I was reading a thread on the gear page where a guy got a Bruno Mars Stratocaster, and that's not cheap. It's a $3,000 instrument, and the fretwork on that was piss poor, just completely unacceptable, even on, in my opinion, a $1,000 guitar. And it's just unfortunate that I really can depend on Fender Japan, and these aren't as easily available to get here. And for most people, they wouldn't have the first idea of how to get a guitar directly from Japan. And, you know, we kind of have to settle for what we get, and, you know, we'll fix it later. We'll pay a luthier to make sure the fretwork on our $3,000 guitar is up to scratch. Bit of a tangent, I digress. Few cons for this guitar, mainly one, and it's not unique to this instrument. The Cabronita that we had, the Mexican-made one as well as the American one, suffered from the same exact issue. I'm going to show you what I mean with the zoom out. The bridge on this guitar, while functional from the factory, does not have the optimized string spacing in mind. You can notice it here when you're looking at the bridge pickup. The E strings, neither of them are going over the actual pull pieces. That's not the end of the world, and you can argue on a back-to-back tone comparison you may never hear the difference, but I can tell you one thing: it makes a feel difference the higher up the neck you go. So if you are somewhere around here, the string, because the spacing is too wide and not narrow enough, it's going to hang closer towards the edge of the fretboard, and that is not ideal. This is something that can be fixed by getting either a Callahan bridge, maybe one that has 3 saddles instead of 6. It might look just ever so slightly better, or something like a Rudders alternative. And the only other thing I don't really like about this guitar has nothing to do with this guitar, but it's the Fender Japan standard gig bag. It is so thin, it offers basically no real protection outside of, I don't know, it's like a cloth, I guess. But yeah, I mean, look at this instrument. This is an absolutely gorgeous guitar. Great workmanship on it. I just wish that it came with a better way to protect it. So if you are going to get one of these guitars, I would recommend getting a hard shell case or at least a nicer deluxe gig bag. But that's it for today. I wanted to keep things a little bit streamlined and not have so many cuts in today's video. If you're into this guitar, let me know in the comments section down below. If you're not, you can do that there as well. I know that for some people, sparkle finish might be a little bit too much. I totally understand. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to tell somebody in your life that you do love them. Take it easy.